Alright, welcome everyone to HOSS from the Royal Arcade Timaru. Brendan Nichols B1 here along with Mitch. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
So tonight we're going to be entertained by the Group C Big Bangers. We've just got the VK Commodores and the XE Falcons. We're going to have a 6-minute qualifying session for these big brutes, and then we will have 2 sprint races for each tier, 12 minutes. So the lap times were doing 102s, 103s when they were practicing earlier on this evening. So a 12-minute race, we're probably going to have around 11 or 12 laps. We did have a wee look at the history of the track there, Mitch, earlier on. So it's 2.4 Ks, been raced on since March 1969, and the Group C record is a 102.37 set by the late to great Alan Moffat in the Peter Stuyvesant Mazda RX-7 Group C car. So sorry about that, you V8 enthusiasts.
Times are pretty on.
That's right. Well, in qualifying earlier this evening, Braden Carroll did a 102.391, and we had a 102.579 from Ben Gormack. So just off Mr. Moffat's time in the Group C Commodore.
Not giving anyone any room for qualifying here. Only problem here is if the guy in front makes a mistake, it kind of ruins everyone's lap in qualifying. So, as you get a bit of something like that.
Someone's in the way. Who's on the bit of track I want to be on? Paul and I have commented about this both at HOSS and at Levels Raceway for qualifying. You really want to be minding your own business.
Yeah. Get one good lap by yourself versus being in a big group of cars that you're kind of relying on the car in front of you to go faster.
Someone off out into the scenery. I was chatting to Paul earlier on after he'd done a couple of practice sessions. He's running one of the Holden dealer team Commodores. He'd say the Group C car's very understeery. You've got to be very patient turning into the corner before you give it the jandle. Some of the other drivers were trying to do it baseball cap backwards drift style, but
and they drift real well too.
They do drift really well, but probably not the fastest way to get around the track, but it looked very impressive.
The problem with these too is there's a set brake pressure, and if you kind of go a little bit further on the brake pedal than you want, they'll just lock the fronts, and then you're also heading straight off the track. So
out into the scenery.
Very delicate way to drive these cars to try and get some time out of them. So the Alex King there, just getting swamped by the Falcon.
Yeah, so Alex King in the Gricey Group C VK Commodore. Alan Grice, of course, our first winner back in the Group A days in the Chickadee Group A Commodore.
Chickadee's come back into the main supercars as well.
Alex King got a green sector, yellow sector, Ray Cotton 2 greens. Currently the fastest runner out there was a 106.6 Ray Cotton.
Other thing with these cars too, you don't want to hit the ripple strips. They're on the point of spinning out anyway, and that's just kind of tips it over the edge a wee bit when you do hit a random ripple strip.
Just enough to unsettle the car.
Watch the time plummet away. Paul Lancaster goes to the top, 105.
So Paul was into the mid 103s when he was practicing. Also only got 6 minutes to set a qualifying time. Will take a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature.
Most of them should get another one after this. Everyone kind of easing themselves in around the same pace too, so it's obviously just letting the tyres come in, get a bit of temp.
Purple first sector for Paul Lancaster, purple second sector for Scott Kinder.
What can do here if he can put a bit of time in, jump to the top. He does with a 104.4. Someone's going to ruin it. It's going to Paul Lancaster. It's going to ruin this lap and the next. So.
Careful, Mr. Lancaster. These Group C cars are now priceless treasures. kept in museums. Of course, you do come out and watch the mainland muscle cars. Many of them are paying homage to the Group C cars of the era. Very well prepared they are.
Or replicas. You probably don't want to bring one out in the mainland muscle anyway and put a scratch on it.
I'd be guessing that XD, XE, Falcon parts, VK, Commodore parts aren't as plentiful as they once were.
I bet you there's a man somewhere in Southland with a paddock full of them though. Got Kinder with a purple middle sector. Will improve in his 104. 138. Anyone can challenge Paul Artu.
In the Kmart liveried car, there's the two Holden dealer team cars.
And using the old drafting, working together, not paying off, but team orders in qualifying.
I was saying earlier on this evening, the first year I went to Bathurst, we went to the National Motor Racing Museum, and the 05 car was on display in the museum when we were there. And you could look all around it, open the doors, look through it, but they had George Fury's Bluebird there as well, and it was in a bulletproof case, so it couldn't be vandalised.
So that's going to be the qualifying for race 1. If anyone can make an impression. Paul Artu running wide at the last corner, that's going to be him for qualifying. Holden dealer team can work together and put in a good lap. Oh, Paul Lancaster up to second. Just a little coming across the line to finish qualifying. Improve, but not any position.
Right, so 12-minute race. First race of the evening for the Tier 2 field. Scott Kinder, Paul Lancaster on the front row. Getting ready for the lights. Yeah, so these are going to be understeering monsters for the first couple of laps, Mitch.
See how many take turn 1. Oh, they're not. Oh!
Is that Latu racing through to the lead? He does get there, but...
Oh, 3 wide into turn 1. Is that Lancaster off at turn 1? No, he's to the lead.
Lancaster in the 25 Holden dealer team car, being followed by Ray Cotton in the 05 machine. Then it's Scott Kinder in the number 18 Falcon.
Getting muscled by Alex King. Go 2 wide up over the hill. Probably not what you want to be doing first lap of a race. Look back up the inside, but he's got another Falcon on the inside of him.
Chris Little, using all of the circuit a little bit more, trying to get through on the inside.
And here comes a Kmart car after getting biffed off at turn 1. He's got the run on both of them.
Paul Latu coming through. Gets his nose in front, but he's going to be on the outside going through the right-hander.
Oh.
Pushes Alex King in the roadway car to the back. Meanwhile, up front, Paul Lancaster, Ray Cotton still doing the business in the Holden dealer team Commodores. Well, Scott Kinder getting a little bit out of straight, has to take his foot out of it, get it into line.
Very hard with these cars. You get kind of a look up the inside, you get excited, you put the throttle down a little too much, and round she goes, and you see the car in front just walk away from you. Paul Lancaster doing a good job though.
I think we can put the commentator's curse on Paul Lancaster for a change. Turn around.
Eddie out front.
Yeah. Nearly a second and a half lead over the sister car of Ray Cotton and Scott Kinder in the XC Falcon, trying to hunt them down.
This is where you feel like you're doing a great job and you realise you've still got 9 minutes of racing left to go. Feels like a 1 hour enduro when you're leading. Trading fastest laps at the front two. Ray Cotton with the fastest lap of that last race. The last lap, sorry.
They'll be giving Paul Lancaster plenty to think about.
I see Paul's in the 25 and Ray Cotton's in the 05, so I wonder if there's going to be team orders to swap that back around.
Or if the 05 car has a problem,
he's going to pull in and
give me a seat. Don't think they're allowed to do that anymore. That's how you ended up with like 4 drivers winning Bathurst. Anyway, still Lancaster, Cotton, Kinder, Little, Latu. They're very close together. Alex King's had a moment. He's 10 seconds off the pack.
Cotton's he's pulled it up in a wee bit to about a second. It was a second and a half at the start, so Scott Kinder with the fastest lap that time through. Our pole sitter. See if he can reel these guys back in and obviously get to them and pass them might be two different stories.
Well, Paul was doing a little bit of homework before he came here this evening. The Falcons had a little bit more boogie in a straight line, the 5.8s. Commodore's being quite a bit lighter with better under braking and through the bendy bits.
Falcon looks cooler though.
What do you mean, all those sexy curves,
yeah,
Mitch?
We've said it.
There you go.
Yeah,
you put the mockers on Scott Kinder. Let's Latu through in the Kmart Holden.
Flag Marshall unwary there, didn't rattle in.
Didn't phase him a bit. Chris Little takes the number 40 car up into P4, pushes Kinder back. Alex King, he's also closing down that gap. He was 10 seconds behind the field.
Paul Latu with the fastest into the 3s. First car into the 3s. If he's got some pace towards the back end of this race, still quite a bit to go, 7 minutes.
So let's see if one of these drivers can beat Alan Moffat's lap record. 1:02.37 in the Peter Stuyvesant RX-7.
There'll be quite a few of them holding a bit of damage from lap 1, corner 1 though, so it might help them, who knows. Put a bit of toe where it needed. Paul Lancaster doing a good job, still pulling away a wee bit. Not by big margins, but still just chipping away at it.
Yeah, he's taken 4/10 of a second out of Ray Cotton. Paul Latu's 3 seconds off this battle in P3.
Got Kinder right on the back of Chris Little now. Man with the pace, but obviously getting caught up down the back after a spin earlier on.
No one's chosen to go with the green machine, the Palmer Tube Mills car. That was an option for the drivers.
Or wary that one of the rounds might be at Bathurst and you might lose it.
Well, we're talking about the green paint still might be a bit sticky. So Kinder all over the back a little, just having a look around the inside. Chris Little has the line for the corner, though goes wide out into the kitty litter. Succumb to the pressure. Kinder goes through, so now he's got Paul Latu 7 seconds up the road. Meanwhile, Ray Cotton's got the lead down, under a second now.
Look at two. Paul Latu. 3. A bit of battling.
Well, if one of them takes the other one out or both of them disappear off into the scenery as they're racing, could be an opportunity for Latu. So it's Commodore's 1, 2, 3. Under 5 minutes racing left to go from Barbagallo, Wanneroo Raceway. Up the hill they go. Under half a second, Lancaster, Cotton. And you're right about this is giving Latu the opportunities, taking a couple of tenths out of their lead.
Stop. Epic.
It's a bit of grass.
Doesn't take much, just takes a downshift through here at the wrong point to lock the rears and run you wide.
So Latu, he's got the gap down to less than 3 seconds. Big gap back to Scott Kinder.
Kind of going up. Yeah, no, he's spun out of looking at his screen behind us. Just onto the track now.
Just mentioned his name at the wrong time.
Not the speed. Real easy in these cars. Just put it down a little bit too early and out of spin.
Okay, 3 minutes of racing left to go for the first round this evening. Group C touring cars. Lancaster leading Cotton in the Holden dealer team Commodores.
I don't know if they'll do a photo finish if it ends like this, or they drive beside each other. All runs wide. He'll be alright here because he's got to do a crisscross. Get up here. Get her on.
So that puts Cotton right on the bumper of the 25 car. So we'll see Latu lurking in the background, 2.8 seconds down the road.
Run out of the corner. Cotton might have goes to defend. He might already have the overlap. Yes. See how
Cotton's got the inside line, takes the lead before they go into the corner.
Ball breaks later and can get it tuned though.
Oh, goes very wide. Holds the lead for now though. Car 25 over car 5. What can Cotton do? 2 minutes of racing left to go from Barbagallo Wanneroo Raceway. There's Latu holding down a comfortable P3 in the Kmart machine.
Around about parity already with the Holden 3. Four.
Yeah, not looking very good for Henry at the moment. There's Chris Little. He's just 1.5 seconds in arrears of Alex King. Meanwhile, looks like Cotton's had a moment.
Yeah,
He's dropped off the back of Paul Lancaster.
Right on the back, Paul Latu right on the back. Cotton ran. Those two are very close to get Latu on the screen saying.
All over the back of Latu's Kmart Commodore. Okay, so 30 seconds. Counting down on the clock. Will the race leader get another lap in?
But he hasn't put a foot wrong yet.
Go and say it again. Say it again, Rich.
I waited till he was in the braking zone before.
There we go. So just the clock was in his favour as he crossed the line. Doesn't have to do another lap. The race win goes to the 25 car, Paul Lancaster.
Well,
For the
next
Ford,
race.
for the Ford placings.
Ford Cup. Ended with a big dive up the inside.
Doesn't make the corner though.
But it's a prize of starting on pole for the next one.
Okay, so now we've got the all Ford front row, Kinder and Little.
See who learned off the last race and how to start these things. It's lots of revs and
Bogged down a bit off the line. Oh, I don't know, the Holdens look like they're smoking already, Mitch.
Ford Cup out front though. They've got to get past the Fords. A bit better. No, still bogged it.
Couple of stripes off the line.
Mercedes start.
It's going to be the
Hold it in.
yeah, the two Falcons going to lead them through the first corner though. And the General wants to come through. Alex King all over the back of Chris Little's Falcon. As we look up the inside.
Old tyres, first lap. Get all wrong, be kicking himself for that one later.
Okay, so now Henry's off chasing Scott Kinder.
Oh, that was ambitious.
Paul Lancaster, oh, does he hold on to it? Drifting style in the 25 machine. Holds on to it.
Over yet is into this braking zone.
But Alex King just hanging on around the outside. Cotton trying to take the inside line. He can hang in there. He'll have the inside line for the next right-hander off the start-finish straight.
Second place. Here's it. Oh, too much curve there by Alex King.
It's through Lancaster in the 25 machine. R2P3 in the Kmart Commodore.
Yeah. Be on the inside, but Alex King in the background has a spin.
Up the hill they go in pursuit of Scott Kinder in the XE Falcon.
Taking probably the biggest lead we've seen so far in this. Locks her ears and runs wide. Hey Cotton.
Goes through. To Lancaster. Hangs Latu out to dry, takes the position.
And reel in 3.5 seconds lead out the front for the Falcon.
He needs to get a break on Latu there, Mitch, so he's can just look out the front windscreen, not worry about his mirrors.
Well, that's the problem these guys are going to do, just battling with each other.
So nearly a 4-second lead for Scott Kinder.
He's going to go the progress of to. Lancaster steps it out and will lose the pace on the straight. Straight away.
Yeah, Latu has a look down the inside though.
Doesn't need a second invitation there. Both cars look past Paul Lancaster. Later, well, he's going to get the run around the outside. Bit of side drafting, if that was a thing back then. But again, allowing now up to a 5-second lead for Kinder.
Cotton's trying to get in on the action. Just a wee bit of a nudge there on the Kmart Commodore. Keeping them honest, all gets a little bit out of shape. That takes the pressure off. That looks like the race leader's had a little bit of a moment there, Mitch. We just saw it spinning out into the scenery. Now we've got Commodores 1, 2, 3, Lancaster, Latu, Cotton. A little bit of bump drafting going on there. Cotton letting Latu know that he's on his bumper. Scott Kinder still on it though, 103.6 in the big Falcon. So can Lancaster extend his lead and make it 2 from 2 for the Tier 2 cars?
Taking the
So 5 seconds back to Scott Kinder in P4. Another 6 seconds back to Chris Little. Alex King currently 6th on the road for Heat 2. Over the ripple strip goes Ray Cotton. Wide entry onto the start-finish straight.
whipping the pace up, and obviously got pole earlier this evening. This field is
Lancaster just out into the scenery a little bit on the left hand side of the car.
big Ray Cotton, big rear brake lock up, probably a bit of a misshift there. All the pressure off the two, so he can press forward, go to attack Paul Lancaster. Scott Kinder right, Cotton.
Race leader reels off another lap.
Back of him. Steeping out.
Yeah, just losing a little bit of speed, getting a bit sideways. That allows Latu to take him down to 0.2 of a second.
Cut the inside, thinks better of it. Go for the better run out of this corner. Go to the last corner. Paul's been real good under brakes though. So be a different story to try and park.
Okay, up the hill they go. Down into the right-hand sweeper, coming onto the start-finish straight. Both take a tight, tidy line. Can Latu do anything off the end of the start-finish straight?
Gonna have to try and put the pressure on. Ball runs a bit wide, but still far enough up. Won't get the overlap. Pretty single file through out of the track here. There's no part of the back. He is.
Keeps it on the island.
A step sideways coming out. Limit. Battle for Kinder up to third.
There you go. Thanks Billy for jumping to the Kinder Cotton battle.
Kinder looking at getting some points.
But a nudge.
Here where they go side by side and it's not very too wide, especially I felt.
Kinder's got the inside line for the left-hander.
With a switch back. Oh, saves it. The Grey Cotton's got his nose up inside. 2 minutes left to go this battle.
All right, up the hill they climb. Kinder can't do anything with the extra cubic inches of the Falcon, or can he?
Falcon does have a bit of straight. Doesn't turn. Subsequently blocks the Commodore on the switchback there too. So. Oh, battle for the lead.
Craig Beard might have to have a look at that after the race.
Should be busy.
So back to the lead. Latu still on the bumper of the 25 HDT car. Just over a minute and a half left to go. Race leader Paul Lancaster. He won the Heat 1 this evening.
Good job. I don't think there was a nudge from that.
You think that was pretty clean, Mitch?
We're going back to the 80s.
All right. Up the hill once again. Will Kinder move to the inside and
Falcon got a bit more legs on the buzz, but again, get the big girl stopped.
this time it's Cotton out into the scenery. That lets Kinder through, gives him a couple of seconds.
A little last lap here, maybe we'll see. Touch and go. Yeah, Paul, you'll try and back it up a wee bit to make this.
Just under 40 seconds left to count down on the clock. Up the hill they climb. HDT Holden versus the Kmart Commodore.
Seconds.
I think they're going to have to do another lap, Mitch.
They will. Fast. Giving them up worth tonight.
In overtime. Paul Latu has one lap to be a hero in the Kmart Commodore. This lets the pressure off Paul Lancaster a bit though in the 25 car.
Driving pretty well. He's picking up the car.
Let's keep talking him up, see if we can put the commentator's curse on, Mitch. So under 8/10 of a second, P1 to P2, Commodore. We can look for the battle for third. Scott Kinder's managed to get Ray Cotton 2.5 seconds.
Here, battle for making it pull car on the pretty good.
One corner left to go for the HDT car. Car 25, Paul Lancaster.
Up from the grid to come through and win the reverse grid race.
That's 2 from 2. Paul.
Underweight and he's got some dirt for the scales after the race. Yes, he had the pace. Up in this grid.
So 2 from 2, Paul Lancaster in the 25 Marlboro Holden dealer team car. Well, good driving there from the two Pauls, but we've got Paul Lancaster. 2 from 2.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise, really. Latu was on my case there. I started looking in the mirrors a wee bit. Another couple of laps he might have got me, but not a bad wee track once you get used to it. Knocked the shit out of that sim before I jumped in it, but it's actually not a bad one, that one. Get used to it.
Yeah, we saw you gave it a kiss as you climbed out. Thanking the sim gods.
Yeah, so, pretty good. But must be going to a time though, are we, Billy, rather than laps? Going to a time rather than laps. $12-minute race.
Yeah,
it's quite a long time when you're looking at where the laps are, and you've still got 3 or 4 minutes left, and it's like, ooh.
Well, the first race you timed it pretty well. We're like, oh, how's he going to get on? And it climbed to zero, probably about a car length before you got to the line. But that last race, with Latu all over your back bumper, you had to put in another lap because you had about 2 seconds to go as you crossed the line. So we'll have the
R6. Dylan Dalrymple, Billy Manson, Braden Carroll, Mitch Gabby's been brought back. All the heavy hitters in there. The pretty good qualifying. 5 minutes. About the 1 minute 3, 1 minute 4 seconds. We'll probably see these guys in. I think Billy Manson did a 102 in qualifying. Ben Gormack driving the 05 Peter Brock car. These cars were era 1982 to 1984. Remember that year, 1983, Brendan Dick Johnson put his Falcon in the trees during qualifying for Bathurst. Green's tough Falcon.
A Palmer tube mills machine.
Right. Talking about that early this evening, weren't we? That they didn't actually rebuild that car. They bought another one off a guy who was there, a guy Harris, was on the grid, and put his car off him, and they bought another car for him to slot into.
Yeah, he got, from memory, a Group C Commodore to run in the race because Dick Johnson had to have the car on the grid for his sponsors.
Right. Of course, it was known as the Picky Paint car because the paint was still wet when they were sitting on the dummy grid. No wraps in those days. You had to spray the thing. And it's still in folklore history, that Brendan, with the TAFE crew getting on board. It's like the Open Polytechnic students, those who wanted to get into motorsport through the TAFE ways of learning. Was about 20 or 30 of them in that car all night. Real tribute to them to get it back onto the grid that next day. But heaps of applause when the car was wheeled out. And only did 61 laps, Brendan, before it retired with a faulty fuse unit in it. So that was what brought it down in the end. Johnson finishing 6th in the championship that year. 83. It was actually won by Alan Moffat in the RX-7 of all cars. And he went into the last round in 2nd place. George Fury was actually leading the championship but boycotted the last round due to being a little bit pissed off with the technical department trying to outlaw the Nissan Bluebird that he was in. So missed out on the last round. In the end, Alan Moffat came through from a 2nd in the championship to take it out. Peter Brock finished 3rd that year. So that was the era. There's no fancy emission systems on them. They're all naturally aspirated. Ford motor, the 5.8 litre 351 Cleveland engines in them. Known to be quick in a straight line, but Commodore's had it better through the tighter stuff.
I do remember the following year, I think 1984, John Goss was running XJS Jag in Group C trim and got Tom Walkinshaw out to run it with him, and that's when Tom Walkinshaw stuffed it off the line, and I think he blew up the transmission in it. Made a bit of a fool of himself, and he bought the Group A cars back the following year It's when the Australian Touring Car Championship changed from the Group C formula to the International Group A formula, and of course the big Jags roared at the mountain that year.
Braden Carroll at the top of the time tree. He's had a couple of purple stickers as well at 103.00. See that time come down from time. There he is there in the Roadways Commodore, famous by days.
And we do have a tribute car, isn't it, running in the mainland muscle cars.
Carroll across the line, goes down to the twos, 102.920, slightly faster. Man in the twos though, Billy Manson second, the fastest at 103.1. Gormack at 103.2, and Dalrymple 10. Everybody's Hamilton 4-1. Everybody's just jumps up to second at 103.1. Lots of them. Braden Carroll was he's out in the grass this time after setting a purple sector. Really Braden Carroll. Loves throwing the car around. I don't know if it's the fastest way to drive one of these things though. Spleet have come from over in that corner with the platinum. Who's on that one tonight? Could be Dylan Dalrymple on that. Manson, purple and third second on. These cars can get wide over that ripple strip. Doesn't seem to be getting affected. Oh, he's out. He gets taken out. Braden Carroll locks the rears up. There's three of them in the fence. Ben Gormack got a purple and a yellow, so not bad. Left have a good third sector. So here we go. Carroll on the front row, Manson beside him, Blair Gabbity's, Glenn Gormack, Dylan Dalrymple, and Mitch Hamilton off the back. 12-minute race it is. So probably around the 11 laps, I'm guessing. So waiting on the lights. 4-speed H pattern. And these things really light themselves up off the line. Waiting on the lights, out they go. Buck first gear, and a good start there from Braden Carroll. Gets the Commodore off not too bad as they head down to turn one. Comes across and he'll lead them in from Billy Manson, who's in the big Falcon. A couple of Commodores side by side there. Ben Gormack with Blair Gabbity's in the blue and white and red car, the number 8 Kmart car. And Gormack all over the back of him, and behind that Mitch Hamilton, a big Falcon as well, the John Sands Falcon. This is a tricky wee section there. Bringing down the second gear and through there, and then down into third. You can run third all the way down the hill, hard on the picks, and a chucker into second. Try not to understeer out towards that side line. Run up over the hill flat. Good gear, puck over the top of the hill. Down in the hard braking zone. Ben Gormack's managed to get his nose up the inside of Gabbity's. Can he hold it there and through the last corner? The front straight they come. Gabbity's takes the wide line. Seen him doing that last week with the British touring cars, taking all the concrete he could from out wide. And he's got Gormack and Mitch Hamilton tucked right in behind him. Dalrymple not too far back either in the big black and blue Falcon. Braden Carroll out in front, Billy Manson chasing hard. 2.5 seconds back to this group. 6 cars here tonight for round 1, season 3 of the HOSS Winter Championship, running the Falcons and the V8s. Bit of flame coming out of Gabbity's car there as he runs wide. Gormack will try and go up the inside line in the 05 Marlborough car. All side by side, the two of them. Dalrymple starting to get on the back of Mitch Hamilton now as they come down over the crest of the hill. Down in the braking zone. Into the last corner. Gormack still on the inside. Gabbity's comes across, not taking all that outside. He does take that outside concrete. Again. Great route off. Lap number 2, I think. Front 2 just running away with the 3. This group here. Gabbity's. He came out number 8 car. The pressure on the wheel on him. Gormack trying to get his nose up the inside. He'll run wide there. Gabby's able to run across the top of the hill. Battle for the lead out in front. Braden Carroll. Road plays. Cormac out into the weeds. He's going to lose 2 or 3 spots there. What can happen? Plenty of time though left. It's just under 9 minutes, so get that back easy enough as Peter's just coming back onto the front straight. Ben Carroll's cleared out from 2 seconds back to Billy Manson. Another 2 seconds back to Blair Gabby's down the front straight. Barbagallo Raceway. Doing your homework, Brendan, about Barbagallo. What can you tell us about that?
Oh yes, I mentioned earlier on, opened in March 1969. 2.4 kilometres long. It's hosted a touring car round for all bar about 4 years from 1973 onwards. The Group C lap record we mentioned earlier is Alan Moffat in the Group C RX-7, Daniel 102.37. The supercars go round there in under a minute. Fastest ever lap is about a 49 second in a time attack car, Nissan S13 Sylvia. They also race superbikes there.
Hamilton there, very defensive. On the Ben Cormac, that gets his nose in front. Look at the race. Aidan Carroll at 102.6. 1.5 seconds in front of Billy Manson. Battle still continuing at the back though. Oh, who's that out? Gabbities gets a couple of wheels out the dirt. It's going to allow the guys behind to get on the back of him as they run up over the hill. Cormac's taking a bit of grass, doesn't lose much time though. Try and get his nose up the inside here and force Gabbities wide. Here comes Dylan Dalrymple, the first of the 2 Falcons there. Mitch Hamilton in the rear. Dalrymple getting a couple of wheels out into the grass, just flicks them sideways, allows Hamilton to get through. In the end, Cormac, lap previous, he was out the weeds there, and all of a sudden he finds himself in front of these guys. Hamilton getting all out of shape, trying to get the power down on the big Falcon. Here comes Dalrymple, trying to have a squeeze down the inside. Definitely not the fastest way through the next corner though. Tight on the ripple strip there. You either want to go left or right of that sausage curve there, Brendan. You don't want to be sort of half and half on it. Coming off it can throw you sideways. Battle of the big Falcons at the back, but still hanging on from Dalrymple. Dalrymple, a former Tier 2 champion. Been him in the fast 8s quite often last year. Back here, down here. Taking part once again in season 3 underway tonight. 10 rounds. The next 10 weeks there's 3 drop rounds, so if you decide you can't make it one week, doesn't matter, you get 3 drop rounds. Put it up. Plenty of room for other guys to join the series. 6 cars in each tier tonight. A couple of spare Sims there available for a run. Manson's patch film to the back of Braden Carroll again. Hiding the big Falcon round the corner. They have Billy back too. He sort of had a bit of a hiatus here for a while. There's Blair Gabbities. The old F-bomb coming from over the left-hand shoulder. He's in the
Kmart car.
He's in the Silver Simulator tonight. The favourite ones, this is a good one. Over the hill, down there, Mitch Hamilton starting to open up a gap now. Back to Dalrymple. Blair Gabbities finds himself at the back now. Back excursion down there at turn 1. Blair Cormac to open up a 2.5 second gap back to these 2, and he's got the head down, trying to get on the back of these 2 guys at the front. Braden Carroll getting a couple of wheels over the curve on the exit there. Comes to off another lap, 4.5 minutes left in the race. laps on engine. 3 second. Billy Manson. What we can do on the back of Aiden Carroll. The season campaign is down at HOSS here though. 2. Many battles last couple of 3 years. Tenths of a second between these two. Still about 5.5 seconds back to Ben Gormack though. Got a safe 3 seconds back to the bunch at the back that are fighting amongst themselves. The old tyres start to go off a wee bit, Brendan, as you get into the race. They start getting a bit of understeer as we see Carroll getting a wee bit wide there. Comes back onto the track. A couple of tenths here to Billy Manson. Mitch Hamilton, he's in the gold triple tonight. Or is that Billy Manson? Might be Billy Manson there, the gold triple. Braden Carroll's in the gold VR single screen. Lee Gabbity's in the silver one. Dylan Dalrymple in the silver 2. Mitch is over there. Got the old bronze machine tonight. Single screen, so the way that these sims are allocated, it's all done by computer draw. So you turn up, you don't know which sim you're going to get. The braking zones. Manson's still hard on the back there of Braden Carroll, still around that 5-6 tenths. And that gap, they're opening up a gap back to Gormack now, which is about 5 to 6 seconds, about 6.5 seconds. So Hamilton, if anything, gaining on Ben Gormack. Couple of minutes left in the race.
Should be 3 more laps, including this one, Paul.
Well, King George Tavern, I wonder where that was, Brendan. Obviously a big pisser over there in Aussie, no doubt.
Yeah, being such a dry country and all.
Yeah, do you sponsor a car with a pub? Got the roadways Commodore up in front. Play Alan Grice. He was quite a character, wasn't he, Alan Grice, back in the days? Quite a few characters back in those days.
Yeah, one of the touring car legends, Gricey. We were all excited when he won Bathurst in the privateer Chickadee Commodore in the Group A days.
Right. One was rooting for the old privateers way back then. And we're still continuing between these two Falcons. Dalrymple trying to look racy up the inside of the blue Falcon. Hamilton in the John Sands number 18 manages to keep his nose in front. That's the 4th and 5th spot. Those two. Gormack out on his own. Oh, out the grass goes our race leader. It's going to allow Manson up the inside. The brain fade there, looking in the mirrors perhaps from Braden Carroll, and we hear the F-bomb come from over his direction too. Pretty hacked off with himself after that one. Going to come down with 30 odd seconds left. It'll be one more lap to go. Battle between the Falcons still going on too. Dalrymple still keeps his nose in front with the vibing, detailing Falcon. Of course, there were no wraps back in those days. Oh, he understeers, loses a bit of momentum there. Here comes Mitch Hamilton. Tries and takes as much real estate as he can to kick the power up. He's left and right, but Dalrymple manages to make that Falcon a little bit wider than what it actually is. Keeps his nose in front. They come up over the top of the hill. And very patient there. Out the second gear just to try and slow the thing down. Get her in the corner enough, just give it to her. She doesn't step out on you. Down the hill, heavy braking. Different lines taken here. I like taking quite a tight line in there and getting the braking done at the bottom of the hill. Race leader. come round. Is he going to get the checkered flag this time? I think he will. And it's going to be Billy Manson takes the race win from Braden Carroll, who led for all of it, bar the last lap. Ben Gormack's going to come through the third. Dalrymple's going to hang on to fourth in the end from Hamilton. And then Blair Gabbity's, after running fourth there, or third or fourth, up at the back of the pack. So he'll start off the front row alongside Mitch Hamilton for the reverse grid. And it's Dalrymple, Ben Gormack, Braden Carroll and Billy Manson off the rear. So Manson just having gearbox issues in. And luckily Billy Rowley was standing by and flicked the thing back in. So waiting on the lights. 4 lights. Flick them into gear and away we go. Quite easy to bog down too. They either revving their nuts out or they bog down. And what going to be Mitch Hamilton and John Sands. Number 18 on Billy Manson into the back of Gabbity's. Gabbity's comes around on the back of Dalrymple. And not too sure who caused that one, but it was like Manson in the back of Gabbity's. Finds himself at the back again. And Mitch Hamilton out in front of the big Falcon. And we go back to Braden Carroll, who started off the back row, finds himself in second place at the moment. Manson up the inside as they go up over the top of the hill and out in the dirt. It's Braden Carroll going to come back on. He's going to go down to 5th place. Once again, spitting in his chips tonight, that's for sure. But Hamilton going to lead them down over the hill, down towards the last corner. For the first lap of the 12-minute here. And look at Gormack side by side with Manson. Manson's got the inside line and just sort of holds Gormack up a wee bit and allows Dalrymple to have a wee sniff up the inside as well. It's going to be a 3-car battle down across the front straight. Billy Manson having a wee bit of a win, you see it too, so not too sure whether he's had a bit of a touch from someone. Here we go, 3 wide around turn 1. Pretty good stuff in the background. Braden Carroll's hopping over curbs like a kangaroo, and in the end sitting back watching these guys, but it's still side by side, Manson and Gormack as they head round the hill. Manson just might have his nose in front, and he does, but to Gormack, guys on him, he's going to follow Manson. Once again, Braden Carroll looking a wee bit ragged at the back there on the roadways. Commodore getting out in the grass. It's Mitch Hamilton leads the way by 2 seconds on Billy Manson, the number 40 King George Tavern car. Now we've got Dylan Dalrymple having a wee sniff up the inside of Ben Gormack. Ben Gormack in the Marlborough Commodore. Big Kitty's nose in front once again down the front straight. That tighter line that Dalrymple took into that last corner doesn't always pay off, and Gormack went around the outside of him. Oh, getting it all locked up sideways there, Ben Gormack. And around he goes. He's going to lose a couple of spots there. Luckily Ben Gabbity's is 8 seconds further back, so I don't have to worry too much about that one, but it's Mitch Hamilton. Lost a second of his lead in that last lap. It's down to just under a second. Billy Manson chasing hard. So 3 Falcons out in front at the moment. But who's that? Ben Gormack still out in the grass, completely sideways in 5th place.
I have found out about the King George Tavern Fair there, Paul. Famous Sydney watering hole, operating from 1976 to 2023.
Right, so COVID obviously buggered it.
Yeah, the venue sponsored a famous Ford racing team during the Group C touring car era. The car was recently sold at auction for 190,000 Australian dollars.
Is that right? Oh, it's Mitch Hamilton by half a second back to Billy Manson. Braden Carroll's dropping down the order. What's happened there? A couple of spots. Up to 3rd. Rimple chasing him. 4th place in the vibing detailing Falcon. Cool colour scheme with the 2 shades of blue and the black. I'd be painting that back in the days, Brendan. Should take a few hours to mask that one up. Like these days with cars changing the colours just about every round, aren't they, these days, with the indigenous colours and the likes of.
Yeah, special livery when they came out to New Zealand. The the Supercar Rounds Taupo and Christchurch.
Come a long way, the way these cars look now. That's right. Manson's fastest lap of the race, a 102.8 from out front. There he is. It's the gap from first to second. Mitch Hamilton trying hard, keeping the pressure on. Having a wee look up the inside, but no way through in the big Falcon. Just trying to force Manson into a bit of a mistake. Patient through that first third of the corner. In about there, over the hill. Ben Carroll's just a second and a half back. These two. 7 minutes left in the race, so plenty of time for guys a wee bit further back to get up there. Hamilton putting the thing into a bit of a slide, just whether he can try and slow the thing down and get around the corner. Manson's another one that's good at that, fighting it round. Not necessarily the fastest way around the corner for one of these, I think. Keeping it nice and tidy though, both of those two guys. Hamilton just putting a wheel up on the sausage curb, but nothing too frantic. All four cars, just the top four, there's only a couple of 3 seconds in between them. Still going shot there. A couple of seconds back to Ben Gormack.
A 102.237.
Was that Braden Carroll, was it?
Ben Gormack.
Gormack, was it? Race leader Manson won plenty of races and competitions down here, Billy has. Hasn't got his arch nemesis Alex Sprague down here though. Sprague, he hasn't been down here for a wee while. Sprague family. Manson. Mitch Hamilton all over the rear of it. Down onto the front straight. You see how tidy they're keeping it over that curb. They want to be on it or off it. Go round it the other way. Just seconds. Another fastest lap from Gormack. A 102.02. That's the fastest lap we have seen all night down here. Will we see him into the 101s? Starting to get back onto the back of Dalrymple now. Just 2 seconds behind Dalrymple. Really got the head down, ass up, as they say, Ben Gormack. Top 4 cars, not too much between them. There they go there, and just over the hill you'll see in the background, you see Ben Gormack not too far off. Just under 5 minutes left in the race. There's still a wee way to go, Brendan. It's only just over half distance. And you don't like looking in your mirrors too much when you've got 5 minutes left to go, especially when you've got Mitch Hamilton tucked in behind you. Mitch will just be biding his time. Keep it nice and tidy.
Stay there or thereabouts and keep your tyres in the operating window.
That's it. You can. Here we go, a 101.997. Ben Gormack, the first 101 we have seen all night. That's magic stuff, and now he's just a second back from Dylan Dalrymple. Dalrymple's got a second and a half to get on the back of Braden Carroll. On board with Mitch Hamilton. This is Braden Carroll, I should say now. Plugged in behind Mitch Hamilton. Not far off, having a sniff up the inside. A bit of oversteer going on there in the braking zone. Might have a sniff up the inside as Mitch just getting a wee bit out of shape there. You can see the hand movements going on. And he might have a good run on them this time, Braden Carroll, as they come up over the top of the hill and down towards the heavy braking zone here. He's got his nose up the inside here, but it's probably not the fastest line, the inside line. He can just push Hamilton out, which is what he's done. Hamilton's had to go out into the other side of the strip, comes back on with his nose just in front. Down the braking zone again, and it's still Carroll up the inside. I think Hamilton's going to have to let him have that one. No way for the big Falcon to go around the outside through there, so back up over the top of the hill. Quite a bit undulation going on here at this track, Brendan. Quite steep up this section here. And to get up over the right hander, and then she's all downhill again as Carroll gets a wee bit out of shape coming up over the top of the hill. Down the braking zone. Here comes Hamilton. Oh, gets all out of shape. Hamilton, he gets out in the dirt. It's going to allow Dalrymple and Ben Gormack to get through. Put that all on his own. Just carried a wee bit too much speed. You can hear a bit of a sigh coming from over in Hamilton's corner. He drops down to 5th. Little Billy Manson now by 2.5 seconds. He's running away with it.
Although Ben Gormack's been the fastest man all race, can he do something with that speed, get past Dylan Dalrymple and try and move further up the field?
Got a 101.997 last time through. Looking pretty racy on the back of Dalrymple. You'd like to get a podium finish with 2 minutes left on the clock. Some couple of laps left in it. Back up the hill. Trying to force Dalrymple into a bit of a state. Oh, who's that? That's Carroll, the Roadways Commodore, back out mowing the grass. Starting to get a wee bit out of shape as we've seen him start of the race. Still sitting there in second place though, so that's second, third and fourth right there. With a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps left to go. They have a look, they come back across the line. It's still going to be 1 minute 10 odds. Probably get another couple of laps.
Couple of laps in it.
On board with Braden Carroll, looking at the back at Dalrymple down the front straight. Dalrymple's having a wee look up the inside. Still no way through though on the big Commodore. Does Carroll get a wee bit out of shape? Just opens the door up a wee bit for Dalrymple to have a look. But Carroll will have the inside line for the left-right. Coming up over the top of the hill. The 05 Commodore there of Ben Gormack. He's in the mix as well. Second, third and fourth place cars in shot. Leader just going around the bottom of the hill. Billy Manson got 4-second lead. Carroll slides it down the bottom of the hill. 30 seconds left on the clock, so they might come back around for one more. Ben Gormack will be hoping there's one more lap left in it. The race leader's going to come down across the stripe any second. Dalrymple looking very racy indeed. The back of Braden Carroll. Gormack on board with Ben Gormack here. Be good to sit here for the next half a lap to see what's going on up in front. Braden Carroll in the Roadways Commodore. Goes a wee bit wide there, Dalrymple and the vibrant detailing Falcon. Up the hill, through the left, the right-hander. Get to about here, brake hard. Oh, he puts him into a bit of a spin there. Does Ben Gormack, but he'll let him back through, which is the right thing to do. No penalty involved with that one. Already whinging coming from Dylan Dalrymple about that one. Good driving in the end from Ben Gormack. He's been over the 4. That was Mitch Hamilton getting all out of shape in the Gone Sands Falcon. He's our race leader, comes down to the last corner for the last time. He's going to come across, take the race win in the King George Tavern Falcon. Billy Manson takes the race win. Started at the back, so great stuff from him. Going to be Braden Carroll hangs on to second, Dalrymple third, Ben Gormack. Good drive for him, fastest lap of the race goes with it. And it's Mitch Hamilton, Leah Gabbities, who had troubles there on the first lap. Great stuff there from the Fast Six. Congratulations, Billy Manson. What do you think of that?
I was alright. Went alright, I think. Pretty clean, I think.
Have to look in the mirrors too much once you got that gap going.
I was still looking. Braden was coming.
Was coming. He was a bit ragged though, Braden, wasn't it? And spent a bit of time out mowing the grass. Second place though, mate. Got to be happy with that. Congratulations, Billy. Once again, Braden Carroll, Dylan Dalrymple on the podium. Ben Gormack, fastest lap of the race, a 101.997. Mitch Hamilton and Blair Gabbities rounds out the Fast Six for round one for the Winter Series here, Season 3. Take a short break and we will be back shortly.
So, rinse and repeat. Mitch, back on the mic, what did you think of that? You had some good moments there in your racing?
It went well, and then it didn't go really well, and then it went well. I was leading for a bit, I was second for a bit, and then I think I was second last.
So you enjoy the Group C car? A lot of fun?
Yeah, I thought I had the hang of it, and then you go too late into the track, and then I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay, so rinse and repeat. We've got another 6-minute qualifying session for the Tier 2 competitors. Then we'll have 2 12-minute races. Then we'll have the Tier 1 drivers back into the hot seat from Wanneroo Barbagallo Raceway. There we go. So, yeah, 6-minute qualifying session. See what these characters can do.
Has to go on, do your full. Get a bit of pace. Last one.
Here we go, the 2 HDT cars. Paul Lancaster took out the first 2 races in car 25. Ray Cotton running the 05 machine. Alex King there in the Roadways number 6 Alan Grice Commodore.
Lincoln was hold back and give himself a wee bit of a...
What a remarkably good idea, Mitch.
Yeah, after qualifying one didn't really work too well for them.
Obviously it takes a few laps to get the tyres into the operating window, Mitch.
Yeah, they work on them. Yeah, they feeling of the car. They're a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's remarkably as an offensive.
Oh, we're just in the race. We've just watched Ben Cormack into about the 3rd quarter of the race, managed to get just into the high 101s.
I was watching that when I was in second, thinking if he comes through the field and slows all the rest of them up, I'm in with a soft air getting a podium.
So that was a fleeting moment of thought.
I was thinking of all the ways this could work for me, and ended it all. But
of course, the Group C cars, they kept the full interior in them, so they had the door trims, etc. So they must have burned really well.
Still there.
Yeah.
How many arms on the window? Is he or is?
Yeah, Peter Brock hasn't got his arm out the window waving to the crowd.
Man, you look at the track on the track map there, and it looks pretty simple. Yeah. Not that easy.
So racing on board with Paul Lancaster, 2 wins this evening in the 25 HDT Ultra Commodore. Climbing the hill. What's the braking zone like there, Mitch? Because you're sort of heading downhill. It just sort of does raise up at the end.
Yeah, it's, the pressure applied to the brake is pretty much like out of your driveway. Anything more than that and you're locking the fronts and sailing off into the crowd. So there's a fine act of when you've gone too deep, you've gone deep, and there's no way of bringing it back. So
that was a pretty good time from Paul, 1:03.6. He didn't have the nicest entry onto the start-finish straight. There could be a little bit of time left in the tank.
First sector, that. more, but he'll run it wide here. Meet the flag point. Oh, he's going rallycross. Probably doesn't want to know that we're on board with him while he does this.
That's right. All the fans at home got to see that. Must say it is a nice touch in the VK Commodore. You can look down and you can see the dwell dial for the intermittent wipers there, just to the left of the steering wheel.
Go back to the pits. I think he got himself lost there. Recovery.
Needs a bit of a reset there for car 25. And then we've got Paul Artu. Did a very commendable job earlier this evening chasing Paul Lancaster. Artu in the Kmart Commodore number 8. Definitely kept Paul honest with the second race.
Get another. Still leading. Third, he was first.
As you said earlier, the first 2 races this evening, Scott Kinder had plenty of car speed. He just couldn't convert it into a result.
Taking a bit of a break, bit of a breath, and I'll see if he can get back and put what he's seen from the T1. Practice. Changing it. Get one more crack at it. Yeah, just did a banker lap and just hit it. R2 going to come across. And he'll jump up into second.
1983's probably got in for a dart.
Oh, R2. Lancaster goes to the top by just
0.02 of a second. Good that there for R2.
First race. Hasn't fit. Who bogs down and who up. Now starts. I don't know what I did in either of.
But you don't think it was the optimum outcome?
It was a lot of clutch kicks to try and get it off. Look at that.
These big beasts only had a 4-speed gearbox, so would have been a bit gappy in the first couple of gears.
Get a bit of wheel spin as you take off, and then you think, oh, I'll back off the throttle a bit, and then it just bogs and goes. Great cotton up there. He moves up.
But it's the 2 pulls in the Commodores, Latu and Lancaster.
A bit of a contact there by Alex King on the first race. Biggie there.
Lancaster getting the 25 car all crossed up in pursuit of Paul Artu. The downhill braking zone. And off up the hill they go.
Now Paul gets to that. Cased.
So Ray Cotton's got Scott Kinder in the Falcon all over his bumper as they come off the start-finish straight.
Very tricky call. Do through that corner.
Now the two pulls got round there all right though. Down the straight they go into the final corner before they come across the start-finish straight once again. 0.3 of a second in it. Just need to be very careful on that the concrete sausage there, don't you, Mitch? I think if you hit that the wrong way, it'll all be over.
Even if you slide into it, kind of wheel spin, pick you out. Also a couple of ripple strips up here, you don't touch to. It was a car, is it?
Into the downhill braking zone go the race leaders. Very tight line by both cars. Cotton gets out a little bit wide. Might give Scott Kinder an opportunity. They head down the straight.
I've noticed it.
Noticed a couple of big lunges from the Falcon coming off that straight. Races earlier this evening, but it's quite a bit of effort to pull it up and get it around the corner, Mitch.
Yes. A good challenge.
The wheels up on the ripple strip on the inside of the corner for Scott Kinder and the number 18 Falcon. I'm trying to pull up onto the bumper of Ray Cotton in the 05 HDT Commodore. And up the road, still less than a second between Paul Lato and Paul Lancaster. Looking at the back of the car with a race cam.
Oh, he runs wide.
I was saying to Paul during the break, someone posted a couple of photos of Dick Johnson's Palmer Tube Mills car with the race cam in it, and it's about the size of a bloody microwave.
You'd hate that to come loose and crash it. Two's not prepared to
Also Kinder trying to get through the inside of Cotton, but doesn't have the right line. Still a long way to go, over 7 minutes of racing left in race 3 for the Tier 2 competitors. Right up on the bumper now of Lato is Lancaster as they head up the hill. Does that give them an opportunity into the braking zone off the straight?
Braking. Oh no, it's Paul Lancaster. Face this battle for second there.
Takes the pressure off Latu. So Paul Lancaster got a lot of work to do if he wants to make it 3 from 3.
What they can do in the big Falcon. Past Ray Cotton.
Yeah, obviously no issues with cigarette advertising and sim racing. My brother used to be a sales rep for Philip Morris, who were the Marlboro agents. Got lots of good Ferrari merch.
Bit worried looking at the dashes of the
You can't see the top of the rev counter there on the Falcon. That's a bit. Oh, look at that big send it down the inside. Oh no, Cotton covers it off.
He did well to pull that up. I thought it was going in real deep there. I mean, the battery's not charging, it's out of fuel and no oil pressure. Apart from that.
We did get a sorry out of out of the competitors anyway, so
Aston might be the big beneficiary out of this and comes back for the second spot. He's parted for him and he made his way back through.
okay, 10 seconds to hunt down Paul Artu, 4.5 minutes. Is Mr. Lancaster up to the challenge?
Well, Arto will be wondering where everyone's gone.
Getting a bit lonely out in front. So Kinder now running P3 in the number 18 Falcon. There's Cotton and Little. 2.5 further back to Alex King and the Roadways Commodore. Very wide there is Alex King.
That was pretty new to this. Yeah, you don't have to be a star or a thing to cover that go. Part of it. You learn as you battle these guys. Where they break and you turn in. And here.
Just not on that spot.
Just don't watch that one. Didn't ruin his exit.
No, still got pretty good car speed heading up the hill. No, over 3 minutes left on the clock for the race leader, Paul Artu, still holding a 10-second lead. Well, no, he must have had a moment there. Looks like Paul Lancaster's pulled in a couple of seconds in the 25 car.
Race where you pressure on be mistakes. Focused on 7 seconds to 3 laps to go.
Kinder's not taking the pressure off either. Driving the big Ford. Very hard up the hill he goes. In pursuit of the 25. Mobile Holden dealer team Commodore of Paul Lancaster. Still 2 laps left to go in the race. Yeah, so Paul Lancaster for about 100th of a second had the fastest lap. Now Scott Kinder in the number 18 Falcon trying to hunt Paul Lancaster down to get P2 on the podium for race 3 this evening for the Tier 2 competitors.
And they're making their way up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
But at this point of the race, Latu just needs to be smart, not make any mistakes. He's not under any pressure. There is race leader Paul Latu, the number 8, Kmart Commodore. Well, the issue that Paul Artu has now is doing a 103, 104 minute lap. There was a 108 on the clock as he crossed the line. So does he have enough time up his sleeve to lift the jandle a bit?
This is where you come to just about a stop before the line to wait down. And
we've seen that happen before.
I mean, if he does another lap, it's a bit of value for him.
Well, he's, getting Kmart plenty of airtime.
That's it. Go up to.
Well, I have heard the rumour that they're coming to Timaru from more than one person.
Yeah, wow, the dirt pole is...
Well, I really want a bar because we live on Jellicoe Street, so you know a licensed venue at the end of the street would be rather handy, particularly now they've got traffic lights, so I can stumble across safely to get home.
Signage.
I think they were looking for someone to get a franchisee, looking for a new career. Okay, so Latu. Meanwhile, Kinder's up to second in the Falcon. Lancaster's had a moment. He's 5 seconds in arrears of Kinder in the 25 car. There is Paul Lancaster. So he's not going to make it 3 from 3 in the 25 Holden dealer team entry. Ray Cotton in the sister car sitting in P4. And it's Little in the number 40 King George Tavern Falcon. There's Alex King in the Roadways Commodore. But here we go. Winner chicken dinner. It's going to be Paul Latu in the number 8. Kmart Commodore is going to take out race 3 for the Tier 2 competitors. Scott Kinder's coming through in second in the number 18 of Ford Falcon.
It'll be a
yeah. Billy's noted that.
hold tickets.
That's right, it's going to be a bit like Monaco with penalties getting dished out here, there and everywhere.
Come back tomorrow to find out.
So Little and King off the front row, then Cotton Lancaster, Kinder Latu starting out of 5 and 6. Another 12-minute race for the Group C touring cars from Barbagallo Wanneroo Raceway. Can he hook it up off the line? Not a bad start. Yeah.
Front row getting room.
So King just got his nose in front, gets the Roadways car through the first corner. Cotton's all over Chris Little and the other Falcon trying to get P2. Then Lancaster, Latu, Kinder. Yeah, Paul Lancaster was out in the scenery in the 25 car, but manages to get it back on the island.
Back on.
Understeer into the side of the Falcon.
There's enough track there to keep the wheel on and running it wide.
Okay, up the hill goes the field. King, Cotton, Little, Paul Lancaster in the 25 machine, then Kinder. Latu, race 3 winner.
There's another Falcon there.
Here we go. Latu goes through, he makes out like a bandit. All of a sudden he's into P3. Got the big understeer on the 25 Commodore coming off the start finish straight. So Alex King in the Roadways Commodore gets the big drift on. Can he hold on to it? No, he can't. That lets through Ray Cotton in the 05 Holden dealer team car, then Latu in the Kmart machine. Lancaster goes through in the 25 Commodore. So Commodores 1, 2, 3 off the end of the start finish straight. So the first 5 cars all pretty much nose to tail. Chris Little a few seconds further back in the number 40 Falcon.
Got
Oh,
the inside.
does he pull it off? No. That was a little...
Vicious.
I thought so there, Mitch. Oh. So, Ray Cotton in the 05 machine, now leading Paul Artu, Scott Kinder. Lancaster back to P4. Over the start-finish stripe they go, once again to start another lap. Less than a second between the front three cars. Begun to steer off the right-hander from Scott Kinder in the number 18 Falcon. What have we got? Gee, we've only had 4 minutes of racing, Mitch.
Good so far. Feel like that for right. Get on the straight, have a quick. Get about 2 left. It's still around the 8 minutes.
Well, what Ray Cotton can hope for is Latu and Kinder dicing each other, just sort of lose a little bit of lap speed. Let's see how that pans out.
Lancaster catching back up to them. Left the race on.
Yeah, Lancaster under a second off the back of the Latu Kinder battle. And it's a long way back to Alex King and Chris Little. So can Latu, Kinder and Lancaster get onto the back of Ray Cotton's 05 Commodore? Into the downhill braking zone they go.
Down and get up.
So when you were driving, did you actually think the Falcon had a little bit more on a straight line?
No.
No.
I thought it was on a Commodore because the Falcon gapped me.
Oh, what a bit of a nudge there. But
Yeah, he's got the inside though, so it's pretty hard to try and prove me wrong. Down.
pulls it off.
Want to call back up to Ray Cotton here.
Lancaster still 0.8 of a second off the battle for second. Okay, once again into the downhill braking zone. Getting a little bit squirrely there was Scott Kinder and the Falcon. Really needs to get a good run out of that corner, try and get some speed to make something happen at the end of the straight.
Just see him converting the speed he's had all night. Oopsies in the first two races. He now looking for a race win, but HOSS. Hide.
Kinder gets his nose in front. Is he gonna hold it, or he takes his foot out of it as they head up the hill? Gives Cotton a tap, sends him out into the scenery.
Hate to beat that driving standards reserver on that one.
Latu goes through. Kinder doesn't really get a chance to redress because he's now got Latu all over his bumper.
I've been questioned. See what you do, but he runs it wide. And Paul Lancaster's opening. Now he's just getting spots pretty easy after.
Okay, so Latu just in front of Scott Kinder. Oh, Scott goes too deep off the last corner.
Good. Didn't drop onto the dirt if you managed just to keep it on the island that's pretty good. Is one drop a wheel, it's quite hard to get.
Now we've got the Commodore pull battle going once again.
So
Ooh, Kinder goes to the inside. It's quite aggressive.
Hey Grace now down. Oh, they met before in a Super Crew race, I think. This time.
Okay, so a little bit of a nudge there takes Latu out of the picture. The battle now between Paul Lancaster and the 25 machine, Scott Kinder and the 18 Falcon. Just over 3 minutes left to run.
Good thing there's no tab on this. Results. Replays, we're going to
Have to hold your tickets. Can Lancaster make it 3 out of 4? Not if Scott Kinder gets his way. With nearly 3 seconds back, we can see Ray Cotton down the road in the 05 machine. Up the hill climb our race leaders.
run onto the straight.
Here we go, cross the start finish stripe once again. Probably going to be 2 laps at least left in the race. Okay, into the downhill braking zone. Takes the position, does Scott Kinder. Okay, or goes too deep. Can Scott Kinder hold on in the number 18 Falcon? Under pressure, goes out into the dirt. Might lose 2 places here. Very nice of Ray Cotton to give him a little bit of assistance back onto the track.
Back up to speed.
There we go. That makes it a Commodore 1-2 for now. On the last lap.
Lancaster gets Holden to the team.
Pro 5 car through to the lead.
That's it. 5's always going to win. Happen there or that will hear.
Anyway, here's the race leader, car 25, Paul Lancaster. Going to make it 3 out of 4 for the Tier 2 drivers this evening. Another lap. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, Cotton Kinder. Wow, Scott Kinder could pull off something here.
Got a bit of a lifeline there.
Just give it the big send. Hope for the best. Just trying to distract the driving standards officiator. Get him to look the other way.
That last laps don't count. What I heard.
This time it will be Paul Lancaster.
Third at the moment. Some off-field reviews.
Victory doughies there for Paul Lancaster in the 25 machine.
Some of that's in the 1.
So, Lancaster, Cotton, Kinder, Latu, King. Little Wolf finished 6th in the second Falcon. Bit of colourful language once again from the Tier 1 competitors.
Rightio, back for the last round for the Fast 6. Same track, different qualifying session. It's been pretty interesting. Only 3-minute qualifying for these guys. You want to be hurry to get out there. Dalrymple, Billy Manson out in the grass already. So we'll be out of shape in the Black Falcon. Being Gormack in the 05, setting the fastest lap of the evening in the earlier race, Brendan, a 1:01.997. See if he can go any better than that this time. Someone really jamming the gear stick in the into place in the background there.
Is the gear stick still stuck in the transmission? Or they pull it out so they could use it to clean their teeth?
3 minutes, Brendan, so the pressure's on. You'll see Ben Gormack just
letting the cars go through, getting his own space on the track.
Exactly what I was trying to do. Clear air. Only 6 cars though.
Bit easier than qualifying for 2K Cup.
Fully. Don't forget, if you do want to have a shot at the competition, do get yourself down here next week. It does run for 10 weeks and with 3 drop rounds, so if you miss tonight, that's all good. You can count that as one of your drop rounds. You can still be in for the championship overall. A couple of center spots on each tier tonight, so down here next Wednesday, qualifying from 5 to 7. Get 15-minute qualifying session, it costs you $12, and times will go put you into the set tiers. Go racing. third season for the HOSS Winter Championship. Billy Manson's gone the fastest to 102.5. Dylan Dalrymple 103.0. They're all going to get one more lap, so they're going to get two shots at it. Ben Gormack at 103.06. On board with Billy Manson. Patient through here until you can get it round the corner in a straight line and feed the fat to it. Big 5.8 litre 351 Cleveland walk winds up on the way down the hill. On purple in the first sector, Billy. A lot of understeer there going on at the bottom of the hill. Much Benny oversteer on the way out. Yeah, the King George Tavern sponsored car. Brendan was saying it was quite a fine establishment in Sydney up until 1970 to about COVID.
76-23 for the King George Tavern. Not sure what they had on tap. They didn't have that much information on the interweb.
Buying Lee Manson there. Gabbity's finds himself up at the front. Car number 8 beside Manson. Then it's Dalrymple, Gormack on the second row, and Carroll and Hamilton off the back. 6 starters for Tier 1 this evening. 12-minute race. Around 11 laps. Heading on the 4 lights. Away we go. Gabbity's a wee bit slow away. And Manson might get the whole shot. P1's not the line you want to be on. P2 actually, the inside line. Gabbity's still trying to hold it there, but coming out the other side there, you'll find that Manson's got his nose in front for the run up over the hill. Tyres will still be cold in these big tanks. Lock brakes up left, right and centre. Understeer. Manson from Gabbity's, from Dylan Dalrymple. In third place in the Vibing Detailing Falcon. Then it's Carroll, Ben Gormack and Mitch Hamilton in the back. Run down into the downhill section. Second gear, getting a wee bit of a help round the corner there. Dalrymple from Braden Carroll. A wee bit of a touch going on. Over that down here. Can't get away with it by Matty, so do it on the track, I guess. Down into the last corner for the first lap. That's Gormack in the background in the 05, getting a wee bit inside curve there, lifting the 2 wheels. Like he's got the pass done on Dalrymple though, is he? Dalrymple's come back at him down in the braking zone in the Vibing Detailing Falcon. Able to hold it there, so Manson from Gabbity's. Gabbity's having the best run he's had all night. He's had a couple of 6th places tonight, so the best of nights for Blair Gabbity's. Was their he was the April round winner. Put a couple of wheels out in the grass, still hanging on that 3rd place. We're making the 05. Aidan Carroll, number 6, Roadways Commodore, got his nose up the inside of Gormack as they run up over the top of the hill. Into the heavy braking zone. I want to pull these tanks up. I think you're better off this corner here, braking a wee bit earlier and then getting your direction coming out of there. Sort of out rather than involved in that sausage curb, which spat.
Well, we saw you took a wide line on quite a few laps there, Mr. Lancaster.
Yeah, it was either, if you can't make it around there on the inside of it, go around it. Try and stay off it. Spat me out in that 3rd race. Ooh, getting out of shape. Rich Hamilton just locks the rears up. Back of the pack in behind Carroll. Manson just started a bit of a gap there back to Gabbity's. Half seconds. Gabbity's will be trying to hold it together. I think if sticks it out in the dirt in this race, I think we're going to hear something a bit loud coming from over the left shoulder. Tucked in behind us tonight, Blair Gabbity's. Benson by 2.5 seconds. He's taking the wide line round there. There's Carroll in the background. The braking zone. The turn 1. Wide going on the rear there from Braden Carroll and the Roadways Commodore. Back up the hill. Patient. Not many revs going around through there. Perhaps just keep your foot on the throttle a wee bit and no more. Put flat down here. Different lines being taken around this corner. Close between a whole lot of them. Mitch Hamilton must have had him over. He's dropped off 4 seconds with Braden Carroll. Big black Falcon. Oh, anybody's game at the moment. Again, you see Gabbity's running wide, fastest lap of the race. Billy Manson on 02.56. Now, Gabbity's coming under pressure from Dalrymple on the Falcon, trying to sneak up the inside. Gabby should have the inside line coming up over the top of the hill though. If he can just keep it out of the side of the Falcon, keep his nose up in the inside. Still got half a car length up there. And Dalrymple though. Oh, wee bit of a touch between the two of them, as you would expect. Up over the top of the hill, but everyone's still on the track. Gormack trying to have a snip up the inside of Gabbity's as well. He might go from second back to fourth, Gabbity's, and looks like he has. A nice clean move from Ben Gormack over the top of the hill. Gabbity's Carroll. Hamilton's still 4 seconds further back down the road. Benson clearing out by any stretch of the imagination, just over 2 seconds. From Dalrymple, who's got Gormack and Cavities all over the back of him. By Braden Carroll. It's a good 4-car battle going on for the mid-pack here. Dalrymple holding on to second.
With these 4 racing, Paul, you think it could be a bit of an opportunity for Mitch Hamilton to pump in a few clean laps and hunt them down?
It's looking at the time there, 4.8 seconds back to Mitch. He a half a second that last lap rather than gain it, so he's having a couple of problems. On board with Braden Carroll down the bottom of the hill. Is he on the power? No, not much wheel movement going on there from Mitch, so that's quite good. No oversteer on the way out of there, which you can feather out. Might have a snip up the inside of Gabbity's here, down in the heavy braking zone, just slightly later. Gabbity's will go out wide of that concrete probably. Does. Fastest lap of the race, Billy Manson, but a good passing move there from Braden Carroll. So Gabbity's gone from second to fifth in the space of a lap. Certainly won't be shouting smoke over tomorrow at work, that's sure. The night he's had. Dalrymple. Ben Gormack, done a season 2K Cup, had a test in a Formula 4 a week or so ago. Like that might be the way that he's going ahead, which is quite good. I like get him into a single heater nice and early. If you're saying, Brendan, before the Formula Fords, it's the best way for all these young guys to go. All the top guys have all been through a Formula Ford.
Well, the Formula Ford Committee, particularly in the South Island, have done an amazing job over the last half dozen years or so, Paul, resurrecting that class. We were at the point we were only getting 5 or 6 cars at a meeting. Now we're getting full fields, very good drivers. The winner of the South Island Formula Ford Championship gets the opportunity to have a test drive overseas. We've seen a lot of talent come through. Of course, the round over Christmas, Marco Manson just was the shining star, so we'll be looking forward to see his name in bright lights in the future.
Right, I've said it once and I'll say it again. I think Marco Manson will end up another Formula 1 driver. I think that talent did. Showed up to levels without doing a lap round there and went under the 21-year lap record 3 times in a row. I interviewed him. I thought I was interviewing someone that's in Prima 2.
Yeah, g'day, how you going?
That's right. Still, there's a couple of things still to drop. Always, Gavities just gets in the back of Carroll. Gathers it back up though. Got a bright future. He's got a motor racing family there with his old man. And of course, older brother Sebastian Manson racing over in America this season. Nico's father with a construction company certainly helps things out. There's, oh, there we go. It's that big Gavities once again out in the grass. I want to be the office girl tomorrow morning, that's for sure. There's Billy Manson out to 3 and a bit seconds now from Ben Gormack. He's got some clear air in front of him.
Well, Gormack was the fastest runner in race 3, the only driver into the 101s. So, can he do anything in the last 2 minutes of this race?
A couple of low 102s, didn't he, before he did the 101? Dylan Dalrymple just over a second back from him. That will just take a wee bit of pressure off. And over the top of the hill looking for another race win. A couple of laps left to go though. Dalrymple there. Still hanging on to that third place. Former Tier 2 champ, Dalrymple. Oh, gets a bit of a slide going on. That's not the fastest way around there, but when you've got too much speed going on coming into a corner, throw it in, and take a lot of the speed out with a slide going on. Hayden Carroll though starting to look quite racy there in 4th place. On the back of Dalrymple, a bit more that track, runs over the cones on the way through. Go around the outside.
There's the undercut.
Over. Oh, I might have given Dalrymple a bit of a punt then, did Hayden Carroll. Dalrymple know that he's there, not that he needs reminding. Or he'd be looking in the mirror. Laid out Dylan Dalrymple. Over the top of the hill. Out the back window of Dalrymple, looking back to Hayden Carroll. Bottom of the hill. The way back up down the long straight. Up to a couple of 100 kilometres an hour down through here, maybe slightly more as we see it down the bottom right corner. 14 kilometres an hour. Back down to about 90 through turn 1. Hayden Carroll all over the place in the background. But a little closer, he might try and push Dalrymple wide. Got a wide Falcon there. Oh no, that's Gormack getting into a bit of trouble there from 2nd place. He's going to get swamped by these two. Hayden Carroll gets out in the inside, bloody kitty litter. And Dalrymple will get through. But Gormack did well keeping Hayden Carroll in behind him. Battle's still on. Hour on the last lap. Dalrymple in 2nd, Gormack in the 3rd. Around the bottom of the hill there, probably not much. Dalrymple goes defensive on the inside line, then comes across. So he's done his move, he doesn't really want to come across in front of Gormack. Gormack might try and do the late break up the inside, which he's going to have a shot at, I think. And Dalrymple late on the brakes as well. Just to keep it on the island, it's going to be a drag down to the line. Dalrymple's going to hang on for 2nd, Gormack will take 3rd, Carroll 4th. Gets put into a bit of a spin. In the end, Gavities comes through in 5th, and Mitch Hamilton. Yes, night for Mitch. Place. So reverse them up. Last race of the night. Mitch Hamilton, Blair Gavities off the front row. And Braden Carroll, Ben Gormack, Dylan Dalrymple, and race winner Billy Manson off the back.
All right, so who's going to get it off the line? Oh, Mitch Hamilton got a good launch, but then dialed it up, took his foot out of it. Blair Gabbities takes the first corner in the number 8 Kmart Commodore. Then it's Hamilton, Carroll, Gormack, Dalrymple. Race winner, Billy Manson sitting at the back of the pack. Obviously a little bit of argy-bargy while the tyres are still cold in the first lap or so. Blair Gabbities.
Pretty tidy at the moment though, isn't it? All 6 cars still there. Gabbities, and he keep it there.
Well, Hamilton having a wee look down the inside.
He's really going to go off his face, Blair Gabbities, if he can't keep it out there. Look how defensive he's been, all over the place like a mad woman. And into the breaking into the last corner. Can he keep it there?
Yeah, Paul, you don't want to have to go and have a chat to HR again, do you?
Ben Gormack should stay out in the weeds. So better off do that now early in the race. Let these guys fight it out and help themselves up a bit. Little Gabbities though. Hamilton and the John Sands number 18.
So can Mitch Hamilton make amends? Hasn't really shone in the Group C car this evening, but doing all right currently, sitting in P2, all over the back of Gabbities in the Kmart car. Then it's Carroll, Dalrymple, Billy Manson, Ben Gormack, just with that little moment coming onto the front straight, dropped a couple of seconds off the pack. And Carroll goes through to P2 in the Roadways Commodore. It pushes Hamilton back to P3 in the number 18 machine. And to the last corner before they come onto the start-finish straight. Well, Dalrymple looks like he's outride, as was Hamilton in the number 18 car. Fastest lap, Braden Carroll in P2.
Everybody's still managing to hang on. Braden Carroll, Mitch Hamilton, the third. Now Billy Manson on a charge. The big Falcons on a row there. Braden Carroll, have a wee sniff down the inside of Blair Gabbities. Gabbities will be working up a bit of a sweat, no doubt, at the moment, looking in his mirrors to see how defensive he goes this time as they come down the back straight. Carroll trying to have a wee sniff down the inside. Just have his nose, Gabbities comes across in front of him, which he's got every right to do, then goes wide, comes back onto the track as he's still got his nose in front. He has. Manson's managed to get through on Hamilton. Dalrymple's there trying to hope for the best. He's goons out in front.
Looks like Gormack's had another moment in the back of the shot there, Paul, in the 05 car.
He's trying hard, that's for sure.
Well, he had got down the distance between himself and Dalrymple to just over a second, but now back out to nearly 3 seconds.
And Carroll all over the back of Gabbities. Try and do the old up and under here, get the foot down a wee bit earlier than Gabbities. Gabbities being very defensive in that tight line coming around through the bottom of the hill and hold centre over the top. Floats over the left-hand side of the track. So defensive as from Gabbities, and now look in the background, you've got 3 big coons in the background trying to hunt them down.
Well, Hamilton going way wide, manages to get back onto the circuit though without tagging the concrete wall.
Carroll trying to force Gabbities wide. Like he might have the job done. Gabbities might try and hold that inside line, but I don't think he's quite there as they go through the left-right combination. Gabbities still got the inside. A bit of a coming side by side between the two of them. Manson's putting his nose up there as well. The Falcon. So she's all on out in front, that's for sure. The last wee slide from Braden Carroll. Try and get that front pointed around the corner a bit quicker. What can the big Falcon do down the back straight, Brendan? I reckon they've got a bit more in a straight line than what the Commodores have got.
Well, we were saying that earlier this evening, but they just take a bit more stopping going into this last corner before they go into the start-finish straight. But Billy Manson pulls it up all right, stays on the bumper of Braden Carroll in the number 6 Roadways car.
Pretty close between all 6 cars after what 5 minutes of racing. Only about 5 seconds between the first and next. But still anybody's game. These 3 take each other out at the front.
Manson
getting a wee bit out of shape. He gets a wheel up on that ripple strip and he gets out in the grass. And we should see Hamilton sneak through. He's got the momentum. Manson comes back at him though up the inside, but eventually Hamilton gets his nose around. Jumps up to 3rd place, Mitch Hamilton. Manson pretty dirty on himself in the background.
There's some very aggressive gear changing there, Paul, behind us.
Right. Billy Rowley might be busy tomorrow fixing a few gear shifts. A few sensors perhaps. On board with Ben Gormack. So he's caught back up on these guys. On the back of Dalrymple. So he's turning him blind there. Can't see the apex of the corner. Now he's got to be careful he doesn't catch the left rear of Dalrymple. As he keeps it there or thereabouts. Couple of loose cannons out in front, so Braden Carroll's managed to get through on Gavities. Too sure where he snuck through there. Got the job done. Team Braden Carroll out in the weeds a bit tonight too though, so still got to be switched on. Here goes Manson trying to have a wee looky down the inside of Hamilton. Side by side the 2 Falcons, they come right up the hill.
The Hamilton gets a little bit loose just coming out of the corner there. That might impact on his terminal speed coming down the straight.
Looks like Gavities might have got first place back as they come into the first corner. I think Carroll might have a better run down onto the straight. We'll see when he comes back on. Still a couple of wheels in the grass, but just got his nose in front. But Gavities got that inside line into turn 1. Try and keep it there around the outside. Braden Carroll will have the run in through the left-hander at the top of the hill. Takes a bit of curve. Can he still keep it up the inside here? This is where it's going to be critical. Try and push that other Commodore wide. Gavity's still hanging tough on the inside, but then in the end he has to let him go. Braden Carroll gets the job done again. Great stuff from these guys in the Fast 6. Round 1 for the Season 3 Winter Series. Here goes Gavity's back at him. And goes wide. Does Gavity's might allow Manson to have a run up the inside in the Falcon. King George Tavern gets up alongside him. Got a half a car up in front, and he's got the job done. Billy Manson, he'll have to be careful he doesn't get bombed from Gavities. We've seen Gavities last week very, very aggressive on young Corbin Winter. Oh, bit of a rejoin. Yeah, fair enough, Billy yelling out. Watch the rejoin in the background as Gavities come back. Oh, Billy gives him a bit of a touch as they come into turn 1. Gavities gets a wee bit out of shape. He's going to lose a bit of momentum. This might open the door up for Hamilton. Now Hamilton gets balked a wee bit as Gavities goes defensive to try and stop that inside line. And here comes Hamilton once again. And he kicked the pressure on. Gavities now back to 3rd place from being in the front with 3 minutes left to go. Race leader Braden Carroll for the second and a bit on Billy Manson. It's another second back to this battle here. Blair Gavities, Mitch Hamilton, Ben Gormack's in the mix as well. Goes a wee bit wide, does Ben. A couple of wheels out in the dirt. Allows Dalrymple back through. Mitch Hamilton have a dive down the inside of Gavities here in the big Falcon. Gavities will have a bit of a side swipe between the 2 of them. Gavities goes out wide to keep the speed going. Comes back onto the track. So does Dalrymple. So Hamilton's lost a couple of spots in that corner. See what can happen now. Mitch Hamilton looking pretty racy. And now he's got Dylan Dalrymple in the mix as well. Gabbity's gone from leading most of it back to third place. He at least want to take one podium home tonight, that's for sure. Oh, we got a wee bit of a slide going on there, bit of a puff, brake lock up there on the number 8 car. Commodore. And still Braden Carroll by just over a second from Manson. Minute and a half left on the clock. Two big Falcons take the wide line, so does Ben Gormack. Down across the line for maybe 2 laps left to go as Gabbity's goes a wee bit wide there. Might allow Dalrymple a wee run up the inside. He still keeps his nose in front of the Kmart Commodore.
While all this is going on, Billy Manson's got the gap down to the leader under a second.
He's got a lap and a half to do it, Brendan. Now we've seen Braden Carroll out in the grass a fair bit tonight. We just want to keep it on the track. Time coming down though, under 8/10 of a second. Billy Manson. The race leaders out in front to come down. 17 seconds on the clock. Manson trying to go around the outside of Carroll. Carroll in the roadways Commodore. Still hanging on. 2/10 of a second. Manson all over the back of him.
Yes, we've got the driver's standards officiator looking on intently.
Right. Manson all over the back of Carroll like a horny old dog. Trying to get his way, but it's not working for him at the moment. Just dropped back another couple of tenths of a second, Billy Manson. And he needed to be right on the bumper of that roadways Commodore as they come up over the top of the hill. Down to the last corner. Gabbity's still hanging on to third. Don't think Dalrymple's going to be able to do anything about that. But here comes the race leaders. It's going to be Braden Carroll takes the race win from Billy Manson. Gabbity's will come through in the end and finish third. Dalrymple fourth. Then Mitch Hamilton and Ben Gormack showed some glimpses of brilliance through the evening. Takes out the fastest lap for the evening as well, 1:01.997. But unfortunately finishes 6th. So congratulations Braden Carroll, taking the race win. That's about it from down here at HOSS this evening for the round 1. And a bit of debriefing going on in the background as you might be able to hear. Braden Carroll from Billy Manson, Blair Gabbity's. Dalrymple, Mitch Hamilton, Ben Gormack. That's the way they finish. Yeah, make sure you tune in next week, and if you haven't got your ass down here to get in the competition, make sure you do next week. Qualifying from 5 till 7. We look forward to catching you next week. Thank you very much, everyone behind the scenes, Billy Rowley and Corey as well, and Brendan Nichols also too, Mitch Hamilton on the microphones as well. So we'll catch you next week. I'm Paul Lancaster. See you later.